Alright everyone, just make a quick video here on my experience with Army basic combat training. If you're clicking on this, either you're enlisted and you're waiting to ship out, or you're just curious about what basic training is like. For context, I went to Army basic combat training from October, the end of October of 2024 through the end of January of 2025. In the middle there is holiday block leave, so I had an extra couple of weeks technically of basic training, but I was actually home for that. Holiday block leave would be a different video. This video is just my general experience with BCT and what you can kind of expect. I'll try to keep this as non-biased as possible and some of my feelings out of it, but once again, this is my opinion. However, I will say that I went around before we left and I talked to a bunch of different other trainees, and we all had very similar experiences in how we thought BCT went. First off, if you're worried about getting through basic training, if you meet height and weight and you can pass an ACFT and you can get along with people, you'll be just fine. You start off with around 240 trainees in your company. We graduated 212, and I would say of those that didn't make it through, 95% of them were injury related, and most of that's lower extremity, and that's just people not being used to being on their feet and walking very much. I know it doesn't sound like much, but that's the majority of their injuries. On that side, I guess we'll jump right into physical fitness. I'm a pretty in shape guy, although I am 35. You know, I go to the gym and lift, do workouts at least 3 days a week, and I run 3 days a week at least. So I was in pretty good shape going into this. Definitely could have been better. Run. You don't need to be able to lift a whole lot. You need to be able to run and be on your feet all day. With that being said, I was a little bit underwhelmed and honestly disappointed with the amount of physical training that we did. Most of it's just in the morning. The PT is mainly just stretching. The only hard PT we actually did was runs, and that's because we were doing sprint workouts, because that's the best way for the Army to get people in cardiovascular shape to finish the 2 mile for the ACFT. Like I said, pretty underwhelming. Even the disciplinary PT isn't much. I will say this, doing 30 push-ups when someone's yelling at you to do 30 push-ups, it's a lot harder than just sitting there and doing 30 push-ups on your own. I found myself, thinking, oh, this sucks, I'm struggling, and then I realized we're only at 30. I can easily bust out 20 more of these. What am I complaining about? So don't get in your own head. This isn't going to be a video of going day to day. I'm not going to go day to day. I'm just going to tell you my experience and my opinions of it. So once you get through reception, you get broke out into your company and then into your platoons. And something that a lot of us kind of figured out later is that we don't have any way to prove this, but we're pretty sure the platoons are structured based off your personality that you took at MEPS, because it becomes pretty apparent that trainees that they think will have difficulty with discipline and structure are typically put together in 1 or 2 platoons, and you kind of see that play out within the first couple weeks. So I was in 1st platoon. In my opinion, we were pretty darn squared away. 1st platoon and 4th platoon were pretty squared away. We weren't doing a bunch of extra disciplinary PT. Throughout all of basic training, our drill sergeants would pretty much just give us the bare minimum instruction and expect us to perform. And the difference between that and the other, 2nd and 3rd platoon is they were doing V-ups and push-ups all the time. Yeah, out in the PT area, in the bay, wherever. So just kind of understand that dynamic. You may unfortunately get put in with the bad apples and you're just going to do more PT. But like I said, it's nothing crazy. Outside of the platoon splits, the biggest hurdle for me was dealing with personalities that it seemed like they didn't want to be there. And that may have been the case. Maybe they didn't want to be there. Like I said, I'm 35. I joined the National Guard late in life. It's something I want to do. They always ask your why. My why is to serve my country and be a role model for my kids and my wife. That's really it. So my why is very strong. Some people, I'll give a prime example. There was one trainee who has really struggled with discipline, and especially when I was in a leadership position. You got to understand, basic training leadership just means the drill sergeants tell you what to do, and they expect you to disseminate that information amongst your platoon and get it done. So you have no real authority. You're kind of just a messenger, but you're still expected to keep your platoon in line. This particular trainee just didn't want to listen, and you have no authority, so you can't. It's not like you can get aggressive or yell or threaten. It's empty threats. So just kind of leveling with those other trainees and trying to understand where they're coming from. In this situation, this guy, he said, I joined the Army to gain discipline. I knew I needed discipline, and I'm disappointed because I'm not getting it here. And so he pretty much just gave up and quit trying. I don't think that was the right route. I tried to explain to him that personal discipline comes from within. Nobody can put that on you, but it didn't really seem to stick. So you're not going to win every battle. And that kind of leads me on to the next thing with BCT is you have to be okay with failure. Not that you're going to fail everything, not that you're even going to fail a lot, but you are put in situations where you're going to fail. And the drill sergeants are looking to see how you handle that. They want to see if you're still a good battle buddy. They want to see if you have integrity and discipline when you do fail and not try to cheat and cut corners. I'm not saying you're accepting the failure, but you understand that you have failed and how you went about it with some sort of dignity and integrity. With that, drill sergeants, kind of luck of the draw, right? You get drill sergeants from every MOS, mechanics to infantry. Some infantry are good, some are bad. Some mechanics are good, some are bad. It's just what you get. You get what you get. But what you do need to understand is none of them want to be there. They get drawn or they volunteer if they want to move. They're kind of stuck in a position. Most of the time they don't volunteer. Most of the time their higher ups come and say, hey, guess what? You're going to Drill Sergeant Academy and you're going to be a drill sergeant. And that's basically a 3-year commitment of them leaving their post, leaving their job as a staff sergeant or sergeant first class, leaving their job they're probably pretty good at, and I don't want to say comfortable with, but they're doing what they want to do, and now they're a drill sergeant. And they're stuck with new trainees every 10 weeks that don't listen, don't know what they're doing, and they're working long hours. They're there probably, on average, I would say 14 hours a day. And they get to go home for a little bit and be back there at 4 in the morning. So just understand, your drill sergeants hate you because they don't want to be there. They're not going to like you. They're not your friend. Don't try to be buddy-buddy. I don't care about these other drill sergeants that have Instagram accounts. That's not what it's like, especially in my company. That was not the case at all. So just understand that. They don't want to be there. Make the best of it. Next thing I have here to talk about is what, as I already mentioned, I was pretty underwhelmed with the PT. And in general, I was pretty underwhelmed with the entire experience. Some examples, I expected to go there and, we'd be cleaning our bays. Our bays would get a white glove inspection. We'd be woke up in the middle of the night and, forced to be uncomfortable. Other than being cold a little bit, we weren't that uncomfortable that often. It was pretty laid back. They're just trying to get people to meet the minimum requirements and get the hell out of there. We maybe got bay inspections twice during the day. We got woke up a couple times at night, but I'm talking like a 10-minute smoke session. Nothing crazy. Not even gonna make the walls sweat. It was not bad. But on that note, with the cleaning, it's crazy. Like, we didn't have toilet paper. We didn't have hand soap. We didn't have paper towels. We didn't have supplies to clean our bay. So we're expected to clean it, and as we figured out later on, clean is not like you probably clean your house. It's actually pretty damn filthy because you don't have cleaning supplies. The Army runs out. Everything's third-party contracted, even down to the DFAC, which is your dining facility. The times you actually get to go there, if you weren't one of the first companies in, they were out of most of the food. So you might get the main entree is probably yesterday's entree that they had to reheat because they ran out of today's. And there's supposed to be a large salad bar area where you can get your greens and fruits. Like I said, if you're not one of the first companies in there, it's gone. So that was probably the most disappointing thing to me, was just the lack of organization and professionalism amongst the entire process. Drill sergeants in my situation were very professional. I believe they were doing their jobs to the best of their ability. Like I said, didn't want to be there, and they had they didn't have great resources. So, like I said, these are just my opinions on 2024, 2025 Army BCT. With Trump being in, that may change. Hopefully it does, because what the Army needs is more resources so that they can challenge soldiers a little bit more at basic training. Don't let this downplay or turn you away from joining the Army. It's basic training. It's the most basic thing you're ever going to do in the Army. So if you're looking for a gung-ho experience, the Army can still give you that. But basic training isn't it.